Hey guys, Cindy over paper.old.new. Thanks for coming by, spending some time with me today. Sorry, something is hitting me in my foot. Today we are doing the last of the Mass Make revisits. So this is 91 through 100, guys. I think what's going to happen is we're going to do 91 through 100, and then we're going to start making the Mass Make journal. So the series isn't ending right away. And then we are also going to, after we get the journal kind of set up, we're going to do the extra time projects. There were 10 of them. So we'll do the extra time projects, and for those ones, there won't be a revisit. It'll be as I go. I'll give you an honest assessment of what I think that I would do with it, or if I would use it. If I'm not going to use it, I'll probably only make one. But we'll still go through it. And if that's the case, then I might double up. So like if I don't like, say, extra time number 2, then I make one of those, and then maybe we do 3 in the same video. But anyway, and then the ones I do like, of course, will be added to the Mass Make book. And we'll do that as we go. But having said all of that, the last 10, 91 through 100, and number 91 was double pocket policy envelopes. Now, we all know what a policy envelope is, right? Basically, all this is a policy envelope with a divider in it. Okay, I like these. I don't have a problem with the policy closure. I like the way it looks. I like, having it on some things. I think it does better in certain kinds of journals, other than some kinds of journals do better with a policy closure than others. If you put it into a regular journal with just regular pages, the brads tend to make, from pressure, indentations in your pages. So they make good companion items. They make, and they're better for like a built-up, like if you build up a lap book or something like that. These are good for that. I would make these, I have them listed as a Mass Make with insert. So I didn't do that with these, but if I was going to make these, I would make the insert at the time I made the thing. I would at the very least cut pieces of matching cardstock to go in the pockets. That way, all I would have to do when I was ready to put this in something would be to decorate it and decorate the pieces inside it, and it would already be full. So that would be my one thing about these. And I shouldn't have marked them as a Mass Make. What I should have marked them as was an as needed. I think these would be an as needed. So I need to fix that. And there will be sections in the journal. When we set the journal up, you'll see what I mean, but there's going to be a Mass Make section at the beginning where everything that I would Mass Make will go in the beginning, and then there will be an as needed section at the end, and they'll be marked with what day it is, so that I can go back and refer to it if I need a reminder on how to make it. Wow, that is a glob of glue that I didn't clean off of there. Okay. Then we had this one. I like the way this one turned out, and the divider. And as you can see, I decorated this divider with some lace. And like, with any policy closure, it's around the thing and you're good. It's all shut up. And then I made this one, which doesn't have a policy closure on it. Now, if I was going to Mass Make envelopes with dividers, it would probably be without a policy closure, so that I could put them in a book and not have to worry about the little bubble brad things. I do like the divided, now this is just a divided envelope. These I would probably Mass Make. I like the envelopes. I think they're kind of cool. It'd be neat to like fold up some cool documents or cool paper and stick them in here so that you have a spot to tuck some journaling pieces. So as a policy envelope, and wow, is that not centered? That needs to be, You know what? I don't want to talk about it. As a policy envelope, I would probably not mass make these. But as a regular envelope, I do like the divided envelope idea. So that's that. All right. The next one is, fold up journal pullouts. These are kind of fun. So basically, you don't have to have the flap, but basically what she's done is you take a piece of paper and you fold it, you accordion fold it, and you trim the top to leave yourself a little piece on one of the pieces so that it can fold over. And then what you can do is you can clip this onto a page. So if this is my page, I can clip it over like that and then paper clip it in. And I've got this little journaling spot that I can pull out and journal on. This is coffee dyed scrapbook paper that I cut down to use. So, and your flap, originally the flaps were these angled flaps. I also started doing this kind of coin envelope flap with the rounded corners. But same idea. I'm always in for some sort of cool way to add journaling space because a lot of my pages in my journals are decorative. So these are probably something that I would make as needed depending on the journal's need for journaling space. I am learning that I am more of an as needed person to begin with. So it's kind of, all of these things would be as needed. And anything that I list as a mass make, of course, can be made as needed. But I would probably not just fold up a bunch of paper and set it aside to wait. So this would be one of those things where I say, I want to add some journaling space here. There's not a lot of pages, a lot of decorative pages. I'm going to make one of those fold up journaling things and I'm going to clip it in here. And then I would make it. So that's kind of an as needed guide. The next thing, admittedly, the next item on the list, day 93. So this was day 92. Day 93 was a concertina fold-out journaling with tucks. So I don't have any of those. I didn't like them. They're not something that I would make. I don't have any to show you. Done. That's the first one of those. That's the first one of those I've had where I don't have an example to give you. Okay. However, and there are actually 2 of those in this particular run. But moving on to day 94. Day 94 is, policy covered pockets. Okay, so the idea for these is you take an envelope. So this is an envelope, seal it. I suppose you could cut it open if you wanted to, depending on how you see it. If you just seal it like this, if you wanted to cut it open on the side and make this a side tuck, you could do that. But basically what you do is you glue 2 flaps. I cut it open at the top. This is the one I cut open at the top. So I cut this one open at the top and I tucked the flap down inside the pocket instead of flapping it over the envelope so that I could open this. See? So I open that one and then you flip this up. And you can put whatever you want on the front of the pocket. On the front of the envelope. So this one has a stacked pocket on it. And then you would put your policy closure. And then, of course, you've got your pocket back here. And then however you glue the envelope down could also be a pocket. So there are a lot of pockets in that one. Here's another one I did. This one is a long envelope that I folded the bottom of it up. And I put a pocket on it and then made it a pocket. So... And then you've got the flaps. And then, of course, again, you could cut the envelope open if you wanted to. And then the flaps fold over. And this one's got a little bit of a gap, but you can decorate them. So this one's got trim on it. And you put a policy closure on it. So anyway, that one goes through like, this is another one of the folded ones. That might have been the main way to make these. So you take a long envelope, you fold the bottom of it up. And then you put a pocket on there and you've got a double pocket and then however you glue the envelope down. So I like these. I don't have a problem with these. Again, you've got the Brad issue. But I You could also do the 3D sticker thing where this tucks into a 3D sticker. There's a couple of different ways you could do these as far as closing them goes. If you make this flap a little longer. So the top flap a little longer, and then you could put a sticker on here and just tuck this into a 3D sticker or make a little tuck for it. And I would do these, but I would do them as needed. So I would take an envelope and make one of these specifically for a journal that I'm creating, as usual. I have seriously leaned into that. Okay, now here's one that I would sit and mass make just because we all have a ton of scraps, right? So we're back into the cluster idea. So in this particular case, we started with, these are specifically packing paper clusters. The last set of clusters I showed you was easy cluster bases, and they weren't actually on packing paper. I just added them to packing paper. These ones were basically you take a piece of packing paper, or you take a sheet of packing paper and you stick scraps to it, right? So if this had all been one piece of packing paper, I would stick a bunch of scraps to it and then tear them apart. Okay? So like that, and then, you know, I have a couple more where I've just stuck the scraps on there. This one. Here's one where I stuck, this had been a strip scrap or something, and I tore a piece of it off, or it was from another cluster, and I tore a piece of it off because there's a couple things clustered there. And then I just stuck it down to the paper. This is a whole bunch of stuff on that paper. That's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements on it already and no focal point. I go a little crazy with clusters. This again is a paired thing. These were probably the easy cluster bases that and then I just stuck them to packing paper. And then here we used labels as focal points, which was in the video. I'm pretty sure this was Day 95's clusters. You used the labels as whatever labels you've got. These are all digital labels. These are Tina's labels, this one and this one. These, I think, are from Miss E over at Scrapbooking with Me. This one and this one. This is one I just found online. I think you can get it at Graphics Fairy. And then this is Tina's. So the idea was to make the little simple cluster on packing paper and then add a label. And then from there, you do what you want with it. So clusters I would sit and mass make just because you've always got scraps and it's nice to have something to do with them, especially with, you know, I mean, this is a start of something. So this can sit aside and I can, you know, mess with it down the road. So clusters are always a mass make. Okay. This is one of those folded pockets that I actually like. I don't like many of these. I shouldn't say that. I like a lot of these. I just wouldn't mass make a lot of these. These I would probably make from double-sided paper that I had sitting around, or coffee-dyed scrapbook paper that I had sitting around. You can make them out of card. I feel like if you used heavyweight paper, they would probably do better. But this is one of those ones, and I made a small modification to it. So the original pocket, I don't know if I have I have a little hangnail right there. I don't know if I have an original one. Anyway, so it's got a diagonal pocket here, a side pocket here, and then a pocket in the back. And then, of course, however you glue it down. It doesn't have to be glued down as a pocket, but it can be. And as you can see, I've done it with double-sided paper. So we got these. All of this is double-sided paper. These ones were made with a bigger piece of paper. All of them were scrapbook paper cut down. It is a rectangle that you use. I suppose you could do it with a square. I don't know how the pocket would turn out. I haven't done one with a square, but you do use a rectangle for this. So this was just a bigger rectangle, probably 9 by 12. And then this was probably cut down to 8.5 by 11, or somewhere thereabouts. Maybe 9 by 11, I don't know. And then there was this one that I decorated. So you've got the pocket here, you've got the pocket here, and you've got the pocket back here behind the music. Okay. We are going to do something with these at the end of this video after we go through all of the parts. So I'm going to keep these out because this is the one of these like square, you know how I am, guys. I don't like these pockets that sit on the page as a square and I don't like it. I would make these. I like these. Okay. The next one. Oh, the next one is the other thing that I probably wouldn't make again and is called a window envelope booklet. I was looking at the wrong end of my drawer. Okay, so basically what you do is you take the envelope and you decide how tall you want your booklet to be, and you cut the envelope off. I don't actually want to make one of these, but I don't mind cutting an envelope open. So if I cut the envelope open, and say I want my booklet to be, how wide is this? 1, 2, 3 3/4? 6 is good. Let's cut it right here. Okay, so I've cut this off. Now you could do something with this if you wanted to, make a little pocket or a little something. All right, and then you've got this, all right? And then you would cover the inside here with something to allow this to be a pocket. And you would cover this side, making it straight. Okay, and then you're going to cover the outside and decorate it around the window, and you're going to cover your little flap, and then your booklet would close and this flap would close over it. When I made this, I, for some reason, had this idea that I was going to cover everything, or no, I made the pocket, and then I covered the whole thing with one piece of paper. So this got really thick. And then when you cover this out here, it gets thick again. If I was going to do this again, if I was going to make one of these, I don't know that I would, but if I was going to make one of these, I think I would pretty much do copy paper so that this didn't get too bulky. I think what I did wrong was I made mine too thick. So when you were trying to fold it and do all the things, it was just it didn't work. So that was one of those. So I don't have one of those finished. The next thing is another one of those textural elements that you can add to. So you take ribbons and you make loops out of them and then you glue them together like this. And for my money, they look great just like that. Just stick something in the middle of it. Get a really cool button, stick it in the middle of there. And look at that. I mean, is that not cool? I love that. And you can make these big or small or, whatever. And then you put something in the middle of them and you dangle some lace off the bottom. And how pretty are those? These are the ones I made in the video, by the way. I haven't used, I won't say I haven't used any of them. I have used a couple of them. So they're best on like covers and stuff just because of how, there's a lot to it. It's kind of bulky. So they're best on the decoration of a cover, or I don't know that I would put them on a page, but especially not that one. That's a big bulky gem thing there. But I think they're gorgeous. And I like I even like them, like I said, I like them without the lace. Just get a good button or a good center to put here and you're off to the races. You might even be able to wrap something around there. Rather than, and put a center on it so that you've got like some dangles or something. But really cool. These are jabots, I think they're called. I don't know what that means. It sounds French. So love those. I would mass make those. I would get out spools of ribbon and I would mass make those. And you'll notice on this one, so 2 background ribbons and a matching cross ribbon. So it doesn't have to be like all the same ribbon. Just, not that I'm thinking you thought that it did, but I thought I'd throw that out there. Love those. I would mass make those. I would get out my spools of ribbon when I was tired of looking at them for too long and say, you know what, I'm going to make stuff out of these. That's a great thing to make out of ribbon. This next thing, day 99, is a double wrap envelope pocket. I would not make these. I shouldn't say that. I would not make these out of cardstock. So once again, they get too bulky when you make them out of cardstock. So the idea would be to fold that around and wrap it around a page. For my money, I would sew them in. I would not wrap them around the outside of a page, especially not these ones because they're so bulky. And then the idea, of course, is to fold this down and you get a little thing like that. You know what? I put these down as a no. I'm going to put them down as an as needed because I would make these out of heavyweight paper. I think they get too bulky as card and I would sew them in. I would not wrap them around. So for me, they would be sew-ins. And I would make them as needed. So we'll stick them in the as needed section of the book. But, so I made these two that I've still got kicking around. And then there's this one that I decorated. So, and I've already folded it and it's got its fold in there. So I can't reverse it really because it's already got a lump. And this is craft paper, which is very unforgiving. I might have actually glued through there. I think I did. You don't have to. I mean, if you stick this around your page, that closes that off. You don't have to glue in there. But apparently I did glue up that middle, which is also why I can't reverse it. But I decorated it. I think it turned out cute. This is some of that heavy craft cardstock from a pad from Hobby Lobby. And again, I would sew this in. Probably put some paper here for journaling and finish decorating this side up. And you've got a couple of little sewn in pockets. This is also something that if I was going to make them, I would make a card to go in them. Just so that I'm ready to go when the time comes. Now, you might say, well, how do you know what card? I mean, I suppose you don't have to, but you could select from however you decorate it. I don't know. But a matching card is what I would do, would be my thought. Now, I will say what I did with some of the ones that, because I thought the card was too bulky, I cut them apart. So I just cut it up the middle here. And then, of course, they come apart when you do that. So you have to re-glue it. And then I just cut the flap off and stuck a punch in there, notched it. And so now it's just a pocket. So it doesn't sew in, but you could use it as a tip in. So these would be probably an as needed. If I came to a project and I said, you know, it would be really cool to have a big sew in pocket right here. Okay, and last but not least, and you're gonna see these on, or you just saw these. You just saw these on Monday in the last of the making for my mess with fabric, and that's fabric flips. So referring back to Monday, these are all ones that I made that are just clipped together. So this hasn't been sewn yet, but I would sew across the top and then sew this on as a little embellishment, and then you could dress it up. I have this one that needs to be sewn. I did already sew a piece of lace back here, though. Oh no, did I glue it? I must have glued it. I glued a piece of lace back there. Okay, so that it dangles down the bottom. I talked about this on Monday, where if you cut it short of your page, you could put an extension on there, right? So if you remember back to Monday's video. All right. And there's this one, and here's an embellishment to add. This one's not done yet. This is just a couple of pieces of fabric that I clipped together that I thought might make a cute flip or something, so I have them clipped together. Also these, either for a topper or a flip, either or. These are pieces that I thought went together that I would like to use for those kinds of things. Here's one that I embellished with a little flower. You can use ribbon in your fabric flips. This is also a spool of ribbon. This one has also been stitched on my sewing machine, although I would probably glue something else up there Again, ribbon. This is from an old shirt. Fabric flips are a lot of fun, guys. I love them for adding texture, for hiding journaling spots, you know, all that kind of thing. Okay, now what I wanted to show you with the pockets. We're gonna go through a couple of them. Okay, I've got some paper here, and you can see I did. This one's got the lip, and this and this. This is dyed scrapbook paper. So this is, remember what I was saying, they would be good out of heavyweight paper. Well, this is heavyweight paper. And then I did this one. Okay, now this one only has the side pocket and the bottom pocket. And I didn't even glue it shut. It's kind of a tuck. And then it's got a paper clip. So basically what I did, so as you can see, you can make these out of any size piece of paper. So basically what I did is I had these scraps. That one's not a scrap. But I have these scraps. And I've splattered them and covered them with all kinds of stuff on the other side. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off. I'm going to cut this small rectangle off. And we're going to do a walkthrough on these just because these are one of those pockets that I really like. And I think that, you know, they're good to have. So this has a center fold, but I'm not going to use it. So my center fold is going to end up on the back here. Or I can center fold it and then cut the top. That's the other thing you can do if you want. And this is torn, so I'll have to glue that. Okay. I'm trying to get it so that it's nice and it's centered, okay? And then basically, because of the way this went, what I'll do is I'll trim the top rather than... So we're going to trim about maybe 1/4 of an inch off. It doesn't have to be a big lip. And the only reason I'm doing this is personal preference. Okay, and then I've got my lip. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold it short of the side. You don't want this to meet that side. Okay? And again, it's for the same reason, so that you know there's a pocket there and so that you can get into it. All right? And then when you open this up, my rectangles are all different sizes now. So I've got a narrow rectangle and a wide rectangle, and I've got a wide rectangle and a narrow rectangle, but this end of my page is shorter because this isn't exactly in half anymore. Okay, so I've got a short narrow rectangle and a tall narrow rectangle. You fold the tall narrow rectangle into the middle. Don't go over your crease. You don't want it to mess up with your pocket. Okay, so we're going to do it like that. All right. And then when you fold this back up like this, you've got your pocket. You've got a pocket up here, you've got a pocket here, and you've got a pocket on the side. All right. The way I glue this is I always do my shortest line. So this end is shorter than that end. So I'm going to glue here. And I'm going to glue here. Oh, and you have to glue this flap down. I forgot that step. Or you can cut it off. I mean, if you're using cardstock, you can cut it off. If you're using paper, I would keep it. I keep them anyway, just because it gives, if you're not getting that white core when you fold, it gives you a nice finished edge on your pocket. Okay, and then you fold this up and you glue this side and this side down. Now, if there's anything uneven from your folding, because like this is coffee dyed paper, and I swear no matter what, it's never even. Obviously, you can trim it. So I'm going to trim this because there's some peeking out on this edge. Okay, and then we're going to fold this over, and you're going to glue, you want this to be a side loading pocket, so you're going to glue here and here. Right across there and right across there. Now I have that torn spot, which I forgot to glue shut, but I can do something in the decorating with it. So my pocket has a hole in the bottom. Yeah, see? Because my paper was torn. But I can do something in the decorating with it. So anyway, so there you have it. Now, we have our little piece, right? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to fold this one. This one I'm going to fold all the way to its top. Okay? And I want it to go all the way to its top. Okay? And then I'm going to fold it short of its side. So our side pocket. And then if you don't want to do all the unfolding, you can always just, well, that's your front one. So if you don't want to remember, just kind of while you've got it folded like this, you know this is your front one. So hold on to it and then fold this corner. Okay, and we're going to glue this. Okay, just like you do on the big one. Ooh, I need a rag. Oh, Cindy. Okay. So it folds over like that. Okay. Get all my folds. And whatnot. Now you can see there's a seam there. If I wanted, I could cut this short. I'm probably just going to leave it. The way I made this was now I take a little paper clip and I say, okay, my paper clip is going to go right back here. I'm going to push it down to where I want it. And then I'm going to unfold this. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to cover this whole area. So this will not be a pocket this time. So we're going to cover all of this up. And then we're going to glue this side. Now, gluing this side is optional. I feel like with a paper clip, I don't know. I mean, it's optional. It can be a tuck where something can hang out that side, or it can be a pocket, which, you know, as you know, is more restrictive as far as what you can fit in it. All right. So that's the back, right? And now you've got a hidden paper. Well, it's not hidden. I mean, you can see the paper clip. Well, the glue is still wet. If I want that a little higher so I can stick a. Okay, like that. And then same thing with this. You're going to glue along the top and bottom edges. This was just supposed to be a revisit, so we did this set. If you want to get, if you want to see the folds and everything again, go back to the video. This was video number 96. This was day 96. Okay. All right, and then we have that. And it's folded a little bit crooked, but anyway. So now you've got a pocket here and a pocket here, and this clips into your book. They're cute, right? I think that's a great way to use them small. And then I like these better with rounded corners, so I typically will stick this into my, oh yeah, I forgot. You might want to do the rounding before you glue it together. Only because the paper clip tends to get in the way of getting into the corner rounder. I didn't think it was over far enough, but apparently it is. It hits. Or something. So I can't get in there. But anyway, you get the idea. So, really cute, right? And we got this one. This This one's narrower. So, and then this is the main one. I like these. Like I said, this is one of those square or rectangular style pockets that I would actually make. So I just thought I would share with you guys this little alteration of them and show you that you can make these any size if you need a little pocket, or if you need a pocket for a little journal. I mean, if you're making a mini journal and you want one of these pockets in there. So, all right, guys, that's the last of the revisit. So next week, when we do the revisits, we will be pulling out the journal and throwing together, starting on, I don't know how far we'll get because the journal's already made. It's just a matter of getting the pieces and putting them in there. So we'll see how far we get in the first one. I'm hoping that we can maybe get it done in 2 to 4 videos. So like maybe 25 to 50 and then, or, you know, like that 1 through 25, 25 through 50. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But anyway, so this was revisits 91 through 100. I hope you guys have liked this and you'll stick around for the rest of the add-ins. The journal is going to be fun. It's going to act as an idea journal, and I will see you guys next time. God bless.